I'm just gonna be like, yeah, we're back.
There we go. Okay. Should be back up now. Golly. Well, I'm annoyed.
All right,
So,
we gotta speak fast.
all right.
Speak
So,
fast,
Alex,
lead ass.
Alex,
Let's get out of here.
what would you say? What did you say before we cut out again there? Villy or
What was the
Winthrop?
question?
Villy
Oh,
or
yeah.
Winthrop?
I was like, Winthrop. We'll go with Winthrop.
Winthrop. Garrett, who you got moving on? Well, I guess we got Winthrop.
This is my other 5-tool. This is my other 5-tool upset. I'm taking Winthrop here.
All right, we're rocking Winthrop here. All right, so now we are to Purdue, and they're not playing Winthrop. They are playing North Texas. We will start with you, Garrett. You've gone last a couple times in a row here. So who you got moving on, Purdue or North Texas?
I'm riding the Boilermakers into the second round.
Carl?
Yep, Purdue.
Liz?
I root for the Mean Green as an upset team, but they're not moving past Purdue.
All right. Alex, you got 2 cents that you want to put in?
Just that North Texas looked like they looked horrible in the conference tournament. I think they only scored like 9 points in the second half or some shit like that. It was horrible. So Purdue has an easy matchup. So it's Purdue all the way.
All right, next matchup we got moving on. We've got number 6 Texas Tech, and then number 11 Utah State. Gonna throw it to you first here, Alex. Who you got moving on, Texas Tech or Utah State?
We'll go with Texas Tech only because Lubbock is 2 hours away from me. So we'll go with Texas Tech. That's the only reason. I don't because Utah State's 11 seed. I don't know anything about Utah State, so I gotta say they probably earned it. But no, I'll go with Texas Tech.
All right, Liz, enlighten us. Texas Tech or Utah State?
I'm going Texas Tech as well, but not because they're anywhere near me.
She actually has a reason. Like, no, not like me. I'm just like,
No, not really. I honestly don't know that much about Utah State this year. So I'm going to stick with the bracketologists that know what they're doing.
Garrett, who you got moving on?
I kind of want to buck the trend a little and pick Utah State, the team that nobody knows what's going on. I feel like that adds to the mystery and intrigue of March Madness. So I'm gonna ride Utah State here just for shits and giggles. I think
the intrigue, love it. Carl, so are you gonna move Texas Tech on to the next round, or are we gonna tie it up here?
Yeah, I think this is one of the best seeding jobs they've done. As far as Texas Tech goes, I think 6 is like probably right where I would have put them. They've had some good wins this year. They've also had some really questionable losses. Utah State is a team that some people didn't even have them in the field in the first place. They were kind of on the bubble there for a little bit. And they lost by, I'm trying to think who they lost to this year. They lost by double digits to VCU. They lost to BYU also this year. And other than that, they haven't really played anybody. They just lost to San Diego State, I want to say. But yeah, anyway, I'm going with Texas Tech.
Texas Tech is moving
yeah, you picked the garbage team, Garrett.
I know.
Yeah.
I was like, this is why they suck, and this is why they suck. And I'm like, fuck.
Do better,
Hey,
please.
we got the giggles though, right? We got the giggles.
Also, the
shits are coming
giggles.
later.
All right, so now we've got my team that I'm obviously going to be biased here. We've got the Arkansas Razorbacks against, yes, Rieger, I'm glad you're back, my man. Arkansas versus Colgate. So we're going to start with Carl here. Carl, do you got the Hogs or toothpaste?
Yeah, I'm going with the Hogs, although I will say this is actually a miserable matchup for them. Colgate's actually not that bad of a team. But I will go with Arkansas because at their best, they're very, very good. So, yeah, we're rolling with Arkansas.
Garrett, who are you rolling with?
I'm not picking against Arkansas here. I'm gonna go with Arkansas. I'm not picking for toothpaste, so.
Liz?
I'm actually a Colgate fan. They usually play Syracuse pretty well every year, too. So I pick them for an upset.
All right. Alex?
I wish I had my toothbrush because I'd be picking Colgate too, but I don't. So I'm picking Colgate. I don't know. Sorry, I'm gonna make you mad, Jackson, and probably Rieger, but I didn't think Arkansas just didn't look that good to me. Just watching the conference tournament, and I don't know. I like. We'll go with Colgate. I'm going with Colgate. I'm going with Colgate.
Listen.
It doesn't matter.
I'm not going to tell you. I've moved Arkansas in. Once I saw two other people, I went with Arkansas. I went ahead and
I knew you were gonna vote for him. But I still picked Colgate for my own brand.
Yeah, but listen. Arkansas is down one of their key players. He does completely change the game. Will probably be thrown into the starting lineup. Must said. And I mean, you can't deny, from a Razorback fan's perspective, that last game was disappointing. But I knew that even though Arkansas was the 2 seed in the SEC tournament, I knew it wasn't going to be easy because we had to play the winner of LSU and Mizzou. Both of those teams demolished Arkansas early in the season, and Arkansas played LSU in a close one, and then it took overtime to beat Mizzou the one time we did beat them. So I knew it wasn't going to be an easy cakewalk in there. I think 1, 2, and 3, Alabama, Arkansas, and LSU are 3 legitimate teams in this tournament that, like I said, I'm not going to be like an overreaching homer here. I think Arkansas moves on against Colgate. I think they brush their teeth, spit it out, and then nice shiny smile as they move on into the next round. All right, so next, another SEC team. We've got Florida, and they will be going up against Virginia Tech. Let's throw it to. We'll start with Carl on this one. Carl, who you got moving on? Florida, Virginia Tech.
This one's kind of a weird one for me because I'm not really that impressed with either of these teams. I'll take Virginia Tech because I think I'm more impressed with just their body of work to this point. I guess the committee wasn't because they're seated lower, but I'll go with Virginia Tech. This is another one of those games where it's like, for me, it's kind of more of a toss-up. But yeah, Virginia Tech.
Alex, who you rocking with? Virginia Tech or Florida?
I'm gonna go with Virginia Tech. It is a toss-up for me too. I feel like if I was gonna pick, if there's gonna be more 10-7 upset, then I'm gonna pick Virginia Tech over Florida. I think it's a pretty even matchup either way, though.
Garrett,
we're putting Virginia Tech through to the next round. I'm riding with the Hokies here.
Liz, you riding with the Hokies?
Yep, I am.
Yeah, see, we're all on the same page. All geniuses here.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
And Rieger, who is now the #1 fan of Vendetta, put some interesting information in the chat. Virginia Tech is 4-0 against top 25 teams, AP top 25 teams.
Yeah, see, Virginia
season.
Tech, they're going Final Four. Yeah. Final Four. There you go.
Nah, not quite a final.
No, not quite? Okay.
No.
Oops. I accidentally put a W instead of a V, so it was Virginia Tech.
Virginia.
That would have been embarrassing.
Win.
That would have been. All right,
They're
so
win.
Virginia Tech. All right, so let's see who we got next. We've got Ohio State and Oral Roberts, a school that I'm gonna keep it a buck with everybody. Never heard of before.
Does anyone care? Like, can we all go Ohio? Is anyone really
Ohio State. Yeah.
Ohio State.
Yeah.
We gotta hurry before Jackson's internet goes out.
It's a race against time, man. It really is. All right, so now moving on, that finishes that bracket. So now we're on to the final bracket of the round 1 matchups. We've got #1 Illinois versus 16 Drexel. Is this one?
Oh, Dragons! The Dragons!
All right, so we got one. We got one for the Dragons.
I'm not picking them.
No. You said
You said you always pick them.
I feel like you're
You're gonna pick them. So we got 1 vote for Drexel. What about everyone else?
I'm going to Illinois.
All right.
Yep, Illinois.
So
I'll go with Drexel just because Illinois is gonna win. So it's fine. Dragons. What
all
a
right.
cool fucking mascot.
GG's
Yeah, Dragons. Hell yeah.
All right, so now we go to the darlings of March Madness, Loyola Chicago, and they are going up against Georgia Tech. Carl, we're going to throw it to you to start out on this one. Again, Carl being our local expert. Who you got moving on into the next round to face Illinois?
I got Loyola Chicago. I'm not even blinking.
And then just put it in the thing.
Oh,
in the
we're
chat.
putting way too much pressure on me. Okay, hold on. No one leave yet. Let me make one. Okay. New meeting. Okay.
I got it.
Starting instantly. Okay.
I got it.
Okay, I've made one. I'm exiting this one. I'll be right back.
All right, make a new one.
Okay.
It's still showing the stream is up, which is good news, I guess.
Alex already left.
Well, I would rather go to Alex's and see if that fixes everything. All right, so I'll end this meeting and I'll catch you guys in Alex's meeting. He just threw it in the Slack. All right. Sorry about this, everybody that's watching. My internet is just straight garbage. It's absolute straight garbage. Arkansas internet sucks. Suddenlink is garbage.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Everybody in the chat watching, don't buy Suddenlink. This is not sponsored by Suddenlink.
I have Suddenlink too. That's the
I
fun
feel like
part.
Jackson's gonna write a slam post on Suddenlink after this.
Oh, you don't even know, man.
I feel like you have to.
Let me. I gotta log into. I gotta log in here.
Just make sure that if the stream is still even working. It looks like it is. It was just lagging a little bit behind on what I'm seeing up here, but I think we're good. Rieger bought that last month. Listen, it could just be me, Rieger, okay? Because they kind of got a monopoly around here where I live at. So they're just like...
Is your stream still up?
Yeah, the stream stayed up. It stayed up. But I would still rather... I'd still rather have you the host because I can just... I'm still sharing my screen and everything on the stream. So...
That's fine. That works then. Okay, we're good.
So, like I said, maybe this helps.
If you lose your YouTube one, then we'll see.
Yeah.
Carl, you were picking Chicago, no?
Yeah, I was going with Loyola Chicago pretty easily. They're a top 10 team in KenPom, which is like one of the best, college basketball analytics sites. And this is a team that's better and more efficient than the one that made it to the Final Four like a couple years ago. So I'm rolling with Loyola Chicago. Watching the ACC tournament, I really was not that impressed with Georgia Tech, even though they won. So yeah, I'm rolling with the Ramblers here.
Who else has gone? Has it just been Carl? Is Carl the only?
Yeah, it's just Carl.
It's just Carl?
Just Carl.
All right,
Yeah.
we'll throw it to the new host of the Google Meets, Alexander Chick, on who will be moving on next. You got Loyola or Georgia Tech?
I think just to be a little rascal, I'm gonna go with Georgia Tech. I mean, I get Chicago's kind of everyone wants to pick. I can't say I keep saying Chicago because I can't say the first word. Okay, so but I'm gonna just go with Georgia Tech. I was kind of impressed at how they played so far. So we'll see how that goes, but I might be in the wrong here. So.
Let's go with Liz. Throwing it to you. We're at 1-1 right now. Who you got moving on?
Loyola Chicago, like Carl said, they're top 10 in the Palm. You can't go wrong with them. And Georgia Tech didn't look that great in the ACC tournament, which says a lot for the ACC.
Before you say anything, I'm going Georgia Tech. So Garrett, you make the final decision here. Who's moving on?
It's Loyola Chicago, and it's not even close for me as well. It feels weird picking against an ACC champion, especially in the first round. But Georgia Tech didn't look great, even though they won the tournament. Like Liz said, that kind of speaks to what the ACC would like this year.
Bet. So they are moving on. I'm gonna have to There we go. Their name was too big for my bracket, so I had to do something. All right. So it's Loyola Chicago and Georgia Tech. All right, so another SEC team moving on right here. We've got Tennessee going up against Oregon State. Apologize if you hear a train in the background. We'll throw it to Liz to start out here. Liz, who you got moving on?
This one's a really interesting matchup in my opinion, but I think I'm going to go with Tennessee in this matchup. I won't lie, I haven't really paid attention to the West Coast teams as much this year as I have in other years.
Let's go to Garrett. Garrett, who you got moving on next? Tennessee or Oregon State?
I was kind of tempted to pick Oregon State here at having 3 upsets. I did mention before that I only have 2 12-5 upsets, so I'm going to be going Tennessee here. Oregon State won the Pac-12 title, looked decent against Colorado, close 2-point game, came down late. I'm going to go with Tennessee, though, but it's going to be really close.
Carl.
Yeah, I agree with Garrett that this is probably going to be a tighter game than the seeds would indicate, because I think Oregon State is hot right now, and they've beaten a few teams that are better than them in the last couple games. And Tennessee has kind of been meh. Like, they were a top 5 team at one point, and then after that, things kind of went downhill for them. So I think this is a good game for Oregon State to be in as a team that stole an auto bid. But I will also be going with Tennessee because Oregon State to me just feels like a team that just got hot for 3 games and that's it. They're going to bow out gracefully, I think, to Tennessee.
All right, so we are 2-1 in favor of Tennessee. Alex, who you got moving on?
Wait, who picked Oregon?
I thought
Picked
someone picked
Oregon
Oregon State, or are we done
No,
3
I-
Tennessee?
I think it's 3-0.
3 Tennessee.
3 Tennessee,
For what
okay.
it's worth, I am gonna take Oregon State though. I know the Pac-12 is not a good conference, but I don't know. I like writing hot teams, and so you kind of alluded to it earlier. Tennessee's kind of meh. So if I have 3 12-5 upsets, then I have 3 12-5 upsets. So that's how I feel.
All right, cool. Cool. Sorry, I'm trying to read the comments and listen to you guys at the same time. It's a lot harder than what you think. I don't know how those streamers do it all the time. Which they get spammed so much they just ignore. They don't read the ones. They don't read comments unless people pay like $10-15. That's the life.
Yeah.
One of these days.
One day.
We'll be there. We'll be there. End of the year, right?
Yeah.
All right. So to see who will be playing Tennessee in the next round, we have Oklahoma State and Liberty. Let's go with Garrett first here. Garrett, who you got moving on? You got Oklahoma State, or Liberty.
Oklahoma State is gonna win this game here, but I really like Liberty. Cade Cunningham, I think, is gonna ride this team, and they're gonna ride Cade Cunningham through the first round. But it's gonna be a tough game. Liberty's no easy out.
Alex, who you got moving on?
I'm gonna go with Oklahoma State here, just because they have Cade Cunningham. So I mean, Cunningham, that guy, number 1 pick. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
He'll be fine.
Yeah, Liz.
I'm going Liberty here because I think this is a really good matchup, though.
All
I
right.
like it. I like it. Carl, who you got moving on?
I'm going Oklahoma State. They've been one of the teams I've been riding with all year. Cade Cunningham is really, really good, really fun to watch. Probably the number 1 pick in the NBA draft. And they just beat Baylor, which is no easy task. So yeah, I'm going Oklahoma State.
All right, I'd probably rock with Oklahoma State there too. I really like Cade Cunningham. I can't wait for that man to get into the NBA. It's going to be great. All right, almost done with the first round matchups. So close, so very close, and we've only had 3 crashes on my end, maybe 4 since the beginning.
We're good.
We're doing great. We're doing fantastic. We should have set the over or under. I would have bet the over no matter what the number was. Who we got next? It looks like we've got San Diego State and Syracuse. Liz, I'll let you go first. Syracuse, 100%?
Syracuse 100% for me.
All right, cool. Love to see it. Carl, who you got moving on? You rocking with the orange?
I'll rock with the orange for now, but this is one of those where I'll probably change my mind 6 times about it. So at this point in time, I will take Syracuse, but there's no guarantee that I will stick to that.
So whoever's winning during the game, that's who you switch your mind to.
Yeah, I'll write this one down in pencil and the other one's in pen.
There you go. Alex, who you got moving on?
Give me the Q's. Give me the Q's. Syracuse. I'm going with Syracuse.
Garrett, you any different here, or you rocking with the orange as well?
It sounded like a clean sweep so far because I'm rocking with Jim Boeheim and the Cuse.
Going with the Cuse.
The Q's.
The Cuse. They're no longer the orange. They're just the Cuse.
The Q's.
All right. So now we've got probably another darling, I'd say, of March Madness. People seem to really love this team, that they can go pretty far. West Virginia and Morehead State. Let's throw it to Liz here to start out with. I know you just started, but you didn't. You just said Syracuse. That's all you said. So we'll start with you again here. Who you got moving on? You got West Virginia or Morehead State facing your Syracuse in the next round?
I actually have West Virginia facing them, even though I think this is a really good matchup and there's a really good potential for this to be another upset in the bracket.
Carl, who you got moving on?
I'm really high on West Virginia. I think they're a really, really good team this year. They've played some teams like Baylor and Oklahoma State really, really tough. And this is a really good region for them to really make a run. So I'm going to go with West Virginia.
Garrett, who you got moving on next? You going to move West Virginia into the next round, or are you going to give Morehead State a little bit of hope?
I want to hear Alex's first because I want to make him make a pick here because I'm on the fence on this one. I'm 50-50.
All right then, Alex.
Yeah, well, I don't know Morehead State. It just sounds a funny name. I'm gonna go with West Virginia. Like I'm gonna go with West Virginia. So yeah, you kind of altered in that one. You should just pick. But I'm going with West Virginia on that one.
For what it's worth, I think I might pick Morehead State. West Virginia is playing really good ball this year, but Bob Huggins doesn't really seem to bring it all together come March. He's made a couple of deep runs, but he doesn't really have like signature wins come bracket time. So I'm gonna pick Morehead State in this one, but we're picking West Virginia, but I'm keeping a pin in Morehead State because that matchup really intrigues me.
All right, Rieger, bringing the facts again. Morehead lost to Ohio State by 33. He thinks no upset. West Virginia 20+. He's calling it.
Oh, yeah, he said you suck. That's what he said. You suck.
Rieger,
all right,
Rieger,
so now...
I'll take those odds plus 20. I'm taking Morehead State then.
You heard it here first. Garrett is taking the under 20-point underdogs. Morehead State in the tournament.
That's right.
All right, so now to get together the final matchup of the next round, we've got Clemson versus Rutgers. Alex, we're going to start it with you here. Who you got moving on into making up our final matchup of the round of 32?
Make Carl go first. I don't want to go first. Make Carl go first. Carl, he said your name. Go ahead and give your analysis so I can counter it or not counter or yeah, you go ahead. I want to hear Carl's thing.
Yeah, so here's what I'll say about these two teams. I actually think they're both really bad. This is gonna be a miserable game to watch. I think it's like if there's ever a point during March Madness where you're just like, I want to take a break, like go get a snack or whatever, this is the game to do it because there's nothing really that special about either of these teams. That being said, I'll go with Rutgers just because the Big Ten is a tougher conference. But there was an article I wrote earlier this year about how Clemson, at the time I wrote it, was the best team in the ACC. Now they're just terrible. But I'll pick Rutgers in this one. I don't expect much out of either of these teams, honestly. So,
all right, Alex, what do you think now?
That didn't help. I'll go with Clemson. I'll go with Clemson. Just fuck it. I'll go with Clemson.
All right.
I don't know. We're just going with Clemson.
Going with Clemson. All right, Liz, who you got moving on?
I have Rutgers moving on only because of the Palm. Rutgers is 34 in the Palm, and Clemson is behind Syracuse, actually. So trust the Palm.
Trust the Palm.
All right, Garrett, who you got moving on then?
If I'm not mistaken, Clemson beat Alabama this year, didn't they? Do I have that right?
Are you reading Rieger's comments, because that's what he put in the comment section too.
Potentially.
Clemson beat.
He's coming with facts. He's coming with
Yeah,
facts.
this is what Rieger put. Our brand new fact checker for Vendetta. Clemson beat Alabama by 8, lost to Virginia by 35. Rutgers beat Illinois, lost to Ohio State twice, and Iowa twice.
I'll ride the Scarlet Knights. If Carl's with them, I'm with him.
Yeah, here's what I'll say to Rieger. That game against Alabama was back in December. That was 3 months ago. I think we know a lot more about these teams now. And, I mean, Rutgers losing to Iowa twice is not a big deal, really, because Iowa's actually really good. So, yeah, Clemson has really fallen off in a big way since, December when they were beating, legitimately good teams.
I still don't know who to pick, so it's okay. I just picked Clemson just for the shits and giggles, so I just whatever.
So here's what I'll say as an example. December 29th, Clemson beat Florida State by 10. Fast forward to January 23rd, they lost to that same Florida State team by 19. So,
good God.
Yeah.
They're ass.
After that though, they beat Louisville, who's not in the tournament. They lost to Duke by 26, who's not in the tournament. They beat Syracuse, who's in the tournament. They beat Georgia Tech.
Okay, so it sounds like Rieger is saying that's not a knock on Alabama or something good for Clemson, because he's saying, this is what he says. He says that's when Alabama was horrible. Alabama wasn't on the hot streak that they're on now.
Well, in that case, then Rieger, I agree with you.
That they only beat Alabama by 8, and that was when Alabama was most vulnerable and they didn't have it together.
Yeah, there you go. All right, I would 100% agree with that.
Yeah, that's the miscommunication problems of the comment section, and we're on a delay. We're on a little delay, so
I'm rocking with Rieger. Rieger knows his stuff.
All right, so Rutgers moving on, right? That is the general consensus. What we got?
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
So now time for the final matchup of round 1. We've got number 2 seeded Houston and number 15 seeded Cleveland State. Do we have anything to say here, or are we moving Houston into the next round?
Houston's moving.
All right. Finally, we have done it. We have the next round set up. I'm going to share my screen now. Unfortunately, not with everyone on the call, but if they're keeping up and writing it down, then they should know who's next. So we've got our next round set up. And again, for those of you watching, just to remind you that this stream is brought to you by SimBull. SimBull is a revolutionary idea. It was something that when I first heard the pitch, I was completely blown away by it. I love it. Instead of strictly betting on teams, you actually buy stock in a team, like you do in the regular stock market. So you buy stocks in the Lakers, the Clippers, or the Nets. You buy stocks in them like you would Apple, Google, or Disney. If you head over to SimBull.app /Vendetta and use our promo code Vendetta, then you will receive a $10 bonus on your first deposit. So if you deposit $20 your first time, then you're going to get $30 in your portfolio, and that can get you a nice little stock in whatever team is either your favorite team or a team that you really like and think that can be good in the future. They cover the MLB, they cover NBA, NFL, with a host of other leagues that will be coming to the league. I know NHL is something that they are working on getting in. I think even soccer potentially in the future may be something that they're going to work on. So again, go to SimBull.app /Vendetta, use our promo code Vendetta, and receive a $10 bonus on your first deposit. Finally, we have made it to the next round. We're basically going to start back where we started at originally. So we're going to go on the upper left-hand side of the bracket, go down the left side, and then start on the upper right-hand side and go down from there. So now we have our first second-round matchup between Gonzaga and Oklahoma. Going to throw it to our local expert here. Carl, who you got moving on into the Sweet 16? Gonzaga or Oklahoma?
Yeah, Gonzaga by just a billion points. Not close, Gonzaga.
I feel like Gonzaga is probably going to be the consensus here. Am I
Correct.
wrong?
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Yep, Gonzaga.
Yeah.
Fill it out.
Okay. Here's the thing. Do I just put them all the way in the championship? Is that something that people?
I don't have
I'm
it
joking.
going
I'm
all the
joking. I'm
way.
joking. We gotta have a show. So
Yeah.
that's stupid. That's stupid. So not gonna do that. Like I said, gotta have a show. All right. So moving on into the next matchup, we've got Creighton and Creighton. I said Creighton. Creighton's not right. Creighton's like whatever. I can't pronounce things, dude. I'm from Arkansas. We're like 30. We're not even that. Not 30. God, we're 50th in the nation in education. We always say thank God for Mississippi and West Virginia because they're like lower than us or whatever, and so we're like
I think
40
Bama's
something.
up there
Lower
too.
Bama's up there. Yeah.
Are they? They're lower than 50, Jackson?
They're lower than
No, they're
50,
higher.
Jackson.
They're higher.
Okay.
I can't math, dude. Dude, I don't know what's wrong with my brain, and I got a freaking
Well,
master's
last
degree
time I
too. So
checked,
what's
there were
happening?
50 states still.
I
so I
was
don't know.
like, there's like 50 states.
No,
aren't there?
don't you know that Puerto Rico is going to be a state now, and then Washington D.C. and then maybe Guam too. So I'm just counting them in. You know,
Why are they,
I'm welcoming them in with open arms.
look, I'm not trying to be rude, but who cares about like North and like South Dakota? Just make them into one state, and then
One
like
big Dakota.
and then just make it Dakota, and then you got.
You
can
watched a
add,
lot
like,
of Fairly
Puerto
Odd
Rico.
Parents growing up, didn't you? Sorry, that was a.
Was that a thing? Was that? I didn't know that was a thing. I thought,
I'm not gonna get in. I'm not gonna get into this. Just never mind, dude.
I thought that was
I remember too much.
original.
I can remember that, but apparently can't remember how many states are in the union. All
Hey,
right,
I
so
can remember SpongeBob. I'm
That's such a great like Arkansas joke. Just like, well, we're 50th in this nation education, but at least we're not last.
yeah, there we go. All right, so Creighton, Virginia. Alex, who you got
someone
moving
clip
on?
that. Clip that. What was it? Creighton who?
Virginia.
Fuck. Virginia, I guess. Against my will.
You guess.
I don't know. Virginia. I'll go with Virginia. I don't like that.
A+ analysis.
Thank you. That's what I'm here for.
Liz, who you got moving on?
I got Virginia moving on, but that's ACC bias right there.
At least she gave a reason, Alex.
It's ACC biased. I'm gonna go with Virginia as well.
Carl, who you got moving on?
I will pick Virginia. I do trust Tony Bennett more than I trust Creighton at this point. And I mean, Virginia is the defending national champion technically, so we'll go with Virginia.
You mean COVID? COVID won the tournament last year. He said.
Hey, you can't say that on YouTube. That gets us demonetized. Not like we're monetized.
Oh,
anyway.
no.
Are you serious?
We're not monetized anyway.
Oh, I knew that.
All right, Garrett, you have anything to add here?
For what it's worth, I would have picked Creighton just because I think they can. I think they would have found the hot hand in the first round matchup against UC Santa Barbara, and then I think it would have went on to the second round to put them in the Sweet 16. But it's a moot point at this point, so let's keep it moving, I suppose.
All right. Next matchup, we got USC versus Kansas. Carl, you went last there. I'm going to let you go first this time. Who you got moving forward in this matchup? I meant to say Garrett, but gosh, I cannot speak to my.
Sorry.
I want to hear Carl first.
Yeah,
anyway,
Carl,
so.
go first. Garrett, you'll go first here in a second.
Here's what I'll say. I think you could reasonably pick USC in this game. I'm just not going to. I'm going to pick Kansas in this one. They had a rough spot sort of in the middle of the year, but they've actually looked pretty solid the last couple weeks. So I'll take Kansas and just, trust that they played much better teams than USC did.
All right, Garrett, go.
I mean, if Carl's saying it's a reasonable pick for USC, who am I to say no to a reasonable pick? I'll take USC, I suppose.
All right, Liz?
A+ analysis.
I actually was going to go with USC here, just because I think they have a reasonable shot.
Alex, you got anything to add?
I'll go with Kansas.
Kansas.
I'm going with Kansas.
All right, you're the 5, Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go with Kansas right there with you too, just so that way we make it interesting on the stat sheet. It's a blowout, but they took the starters out, but we kept our starters in, and close
Yeah.
the gap.
We'll just go with Kansas.
Yeah, whatever. It's whatever. Expert analysis. All right. Next one. Next matchup, we've got VCU and Iowa. Going to throw it to Alex here to start out with. Alex, who you got?
I'm glad you did, because I picked Oregon and no one else picked Oregon, so I'll go with Iowa and I hope they thrash VCU only because I'm petty.
So now is the consensus pick VCU, so that way we can keep having Alex pick the opposite.
You're gonna make it to the Final Four.
Liz, let's go to you. VCU or Iowa? Excuse me. Who you got moving?
I think Iowa, but I still think VCU is a really good team. I think it's going to be a good game, actually.
Garrett?
This is probably going to be one of the better round of 32 matchups. VCU is, like Liz said, is like a really good team, and they're one of those like Cinderella potentials. But Iowa's playing really well right now, so I'm going to pick Iowa.
Iowa. All right, Carl.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Iowa. They're just such a high-powered offensive team, so I'm gonna pick them.
Hard to go against Iowa. Iowa moving on. All right. We are now on to the bottom left side of the bracket. We've got Michigan, number 1 Michigan against LSU. Let's go with... Oh, Alex raised his hand. How nice. The teacher raising his hand. Alex, you can go.
I'm going to go with LSU because, okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but, like, Michigan's missing this guy. Like, his last name's, like, Livers or something, right? Something like that. Yeah, so they're missing them. They haven't been that impressive. I think, and we kind of alluded to it earlier, LSU's they're playing pretty well. I think they could upset Michigan. So I'm going to go with LSU on that one. I just want to go first.
Okay. Thank you. Carl?
You're welcome.
I'll take Michigan. I'll take Michigan. I don't really have anything to say with that. I'm just going to take Michigan.
Just going to take Michigan. Garrett?
Michigan is limping into the second round matchup. They're not playing very well. Like Alex alluded to, they're missing one of their key players. But I do think they have enough talent to get to the Sweet 16. But I wouldn't be shocked by an LSU upset here. But my official pick is going to be Michigan, but I definitely have my eye on an LSU upset.
All right, Liz, are you going to push Michigan into the next round?
No,
or
I'm
are you
not.
Going to LSU?
I'm going LSU. I'm going LSU. And I'm biased. I think they're limping in. That, and my ex-husband was a big Michigan fan, so I don't like them at all.
Fuck that.
We don't. Yeah, never mind. We don't like that guy.
They get one round. They don't get two out of me.
And the first round it's Texas Southern, so like does it count? Sorry, Texas Southern. If there's any fans of Texas Southern out there. I mean, so deciding me again. All right. I got to go with LSU here. I've really liked what I've seen from LSU. Late in the season, they kind of faltered a little bit, but picked it back up in the tournament. Played very well against Alabama, who I think is a legit player in the tournament. I mean, they're not like the highest to me, Alabama is, but still a legit good team. So I'm going to go with LSU. Moving on here, and that is who we have. All right. So next matchup to face LSU, we've got Georgetown and Florida State. Let's go with Liz. Let's start with you here. Who you got moving on next? Georgetown, Florida State.
I have Georgetown moving on again, sticking with Patrick Ewing on this one.
Alex.
I'm with Liz. And I'm kind of going against what Carl said, which is probably not a smart idea, but I don't know. Florida State hasn't really impressed me all that much when I was watching them, but I could just be wrong. So, but I'm gonna go with Georgetown because Patrick Ewing and how they played. So,
Garrett,
what a wild time we live in, where it's going to be 8-12 in the next round. Because I'm also rocking with Markham with Georgetown.
All
right, Carl, tell us we're wrong. Tell us we're wrong, Carl. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I was gonna go with Florida State. I think just at some point, like, Georgetown's luck has to run out. They've already gone on a pretty impressive run to win their conference tournament, and Florida State will not have another game this year where they turn the ball over 30 times. They just won't. So I think they were the better team in the ACC championship game. I think they're probably, if any team in the ACC goes on a run, I think it's them. So I think, they're led by Scotty Barnes, who's going to be a lottery pick. I just like Florida State's athleticism. I think, I'm going to take them over Georgetown, but it doesn't matter because I've been overruled at this point.
Vendetta consensusly loves the Cinderella stories in this bracket. I mean, one of them's got to hit, right? One of them's got to. One of them will hit. If we pick every upset, we're gonna get an upset eventually, right? Like, no top seed's gonna play perfect, right? Right? Come on.
We should just went backwards, chose all 16, all 15, all 14, like just go down the list.
Eventually, we'd be right.
Yeah.
And that's when Iona wins the title. All right. Garrett, we'll go with you with this next matchup since you are the Michigan State guy. Michigan State versus Texas. Who's moving on to the Sweet 16?
Oh, that's cruel. That's cruel. Oh man, that's cruel.
I'm so high on Texas this year. Like I so badly want to see Michigan State make some sort of like quote unquote Cinderella run because they're the 11th seed, but like they're still like a national name and stuff. But I think Michigan State's a younger team this year. Texas has the experience. They've got such a good coach. Not to say Tom Izzo's not a bad coach or not a good coach, obviously, because he definitely is. But I'm gonna ride with Texas here, even though it hurts my soul a little.
Carl, who are you rocking with?
I'm gonna go with Texas in this one. I think Michigan State is very tempting always just to pick them because just reputation and Tom Izzo, but I do think Texas is just a better team than them.
Liz, who you got moving on?
I got Michigan State moving on because it's March and it's Tom Izzo.
Alex?
Damn. I'm gonna roll with Texas here. Although, Michigan State and Tom Izzo, everyone's kind of said it. Coaching only gets you so far. So Texas just has a better team, and so I'm gonna roll with them.
Yeah, and just in case you were going to be that guy and be like, oh, I choose Michigan State, put it on Jackson, I was going to rock with Texas anyway. So,
nah, I wouldn't do that purposely.
All right, so another interesting matchup here. Going to throw it to another homer here who loves this team. Maryland versus Alabama. Carl, throwing it to you first here. Who you got moving on?
I didn't even have Maryland in this game.
He didn't pick Maryland.
Wait, we didn't pick. Wait, did we not pick Maryland? I thought we picked Maryland.
No, we did.
No, we did, but he
didn't.
did.
Carl didn't want him. He was like,
I was gonna have UConn beating Maryland and then actually maybe beating Alabama after that. But considering that's not an option available to me at this point, I'm gonna say
time out real quick. Time out. We consistently we chose Maryland to move on, right?
Yes, but Carl did.
Yeah, I know Carl didn't, but I know that's his team, so I'm making him go first.
Okay. I was just
Okay, well, if we somehow squeak out a win in the first game, we're getting blown out in this one. I'm taking Alabama in this game. There's no chance we beat them.
Oof.
That's tough. Alex, who you got?
I got Bama. Actually, is everyone else picking Bama? Is that what?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna pick Maryland. I'm picking Maryland just for you, Carl. Just for you, bud.
Thanks.
We're going Maryland.
All right, so now we're
push the dagger a little bit more into him.
Hey, it's gonna happen to us eventually because I'm gonna say it. All of our homer teams, we're not doing it. We're not.
No, we're not.
No.
All right, so now we are finally to the other side of the bracket on the right side, going Baylor and Wisconsin in this first matchup. Liz, we'll throw it to you first. Who you got moving on?
I like Baylor, but I'm kind of half tempted to pick Wisconsin here. But I think Baylor is rolling too well right now to go against them. Wisconsin's playing well, but I don't see them taking down Baylor.
Carl.
Yeah, there have been times this year where Baylor has definitely looked like the best team in the country. Their two losses are off of like a pretty long COVID pause, and then another one to Oklahoma State, where Oklahoma State just played like one of the best games of their lives. So those are their two losses all season. Wisconsin has been, I think, like I said, I think this seed really did them dirty a little bit, because I think if they had run into anybody else, I would have given them a shot. But Baylor is just not the team that Wisconsin.
Let's rock with Alex here. Who you got moving on?
Baylor. We're gonna go with Baylor.
Baylor.
I think Baylor's one of the best, or is one. Yeah, it's one of the best teams in the country, no doubt. So,
Garrett? Baylor's
Roll
moving on
Baylor.
to Baylor?
Yep.
All right, so clean sweep for Baylor there. All right, next game, we've got Winthrop and Purdue. I was right, see? I said it the first time. That was just me
It was
thinking.
foreshadowing.
That was me thinking in the future, because they were going to play together. So I was just, I knew my internet was fixing to, cut out again. So I was like, let's just hurry up and get to the next round, So finally, Winthrop and Purdue. Garrett, we'll throw it to you first here. Who you got moving on?
I am taking Winthrop here. I think they're gonna play really well against Villanova. I think there's just gonna be a lot to handle. It's one of those hot teams this time of year, and I think that they could be a Cinderella team. I think they're gonna play Baylor really hard. If obviously if we put them through, obviously, and they make it through, obviously. But I'm rocking with Winthrop.
Liz, you seemed to agree with the Winthrop
Yep,
pick. Is that what you're on?
I'm going with the Winthrop pick as well.
okay. Before Carl picks, because I don't know who Carl's picking. I know who I'm picking though. I don't like picking against Purdue in March Madness tournaments. Like they're like one of those stingy teams. I like Purdue. I think hot teams will be hot, but Purdue is stout. So I'm gonna go with Purdue.
All right. So it's 2 for Winthrop and 1 for Purdue. Carl, what are you going to do?
I am also going with Purdue here, solely because I think they're actually a really slept-on team this year. They're pretty good in the Palm. We've referenced the Palm a few times. They're like a top 15 team, pretty balanced as far as offense and defense goes, and I don't know.
Yeah, the geniuses have spoken. So
well, listen, if there's a team to pick to go on a run, I think Winthrop is a really good one. I'm just not. So,
All right, so down to me again. This is tough. This is really tough, and I love Cinderella stories. I do, but I think I got to go with Purdue here. I think that's who I'm leaning towards. It's close. It's close.
both of y'all went nah. That's that.
It's really, really close. But I'm going to rock with Purdue here. We're going to move them on. But to be quite honest, I would be happy if Winthrop was to prove me wrong. If Winthrop gets through the first round, if they beat Villanova and they face up against Purdue in the next round, and Winthrop moves on, I'm fine with that because I like Winthrop as well.
two 12 seeds in the Sweet 16 would be bananas. So
it would. It would ruin everyone's bracket, and I love it because I always root for chaos.
True.
You have to.
All right. Next, we've got my squad taking on Texas Tech. We're gonna throw it to Liz to start out here. Liz, who you got moving on, the Hogs or Texas Tech?
I'm sticking with the Hogs on here just to make you happy.
Oh, I appreciate that. Don't know how much longer that luck will last though, but I appreciate that. Alex, we'll toss it to you next. Who you got?
Should have been the toothpaste. But I'll go with Arkansas, I guess.
You guess, Carl?
I guess.
I'm going with Arkansas. Just at their best, they're a scary team to play. So I'd like to think that at least for a couple games they'll be really good.
Garrett, you got anything to add?
Nope.
I
got Arkansas.
Got Arkansas. Yes, everybody's on my side. All right. Love to see it. For now, yeah. Well, the next matchup, yeah, we'll see. All right, so to see who faces my Hogs in the Sweet 16, we got Texas Tech and Ohio State.
Wait, didn't you just say Texas Tech?
Oh, yeah, excuse me. Virginia Tech. Sorry, too many techs, too
Okay.
many states. It gets all confusing.
Who's the other team?
Ohio State.
Oh, okay.
So we got Virginia Tech and Ohio State. Alex, we'll throw it to you first. Who you got moving on?
Ohio State. Ohio State just looks damn good right now, so I'm gonna just roll with Ohio State.
Carl?
Wait, sorry. Where are we right now?
We've got Virginia Tech and Ohio State.
Oh yeah, Ohio State. Ohio State.
Liz?
Sending Ohio State on.
Yep.
Yeah, Ohio State.
Did you start typing before you even?
Before I said anything.
I saw her nod her head when you said Ohio State, and
You're
then
just like, yeah, I'm
then
just
I
putting
had
that
Ohio
out.
State. Listen, if two people instantly agree with what I'm choosing, then I'm just typing them down because even if it ties it up, I'm moving
He's
on.
got a point. It's true.
So,
Yeah.
all right. So
Dang.
now we are on to the bottom right side of the bracket. We got Illinois and Loyola College. Garrett, you've gone last a couple times, so we'll go with you first here. Who you got moving on?
Loyola Chicago's moving on to the Sweet 16 here. This is Carl alluded to earlier. This is a better team that they have now than what they had when they went to the Final Four a couple years ago. This team is going to be the Cinderella team this year. This is the team that's going to push everybody out and ruin everyone's brackets. I'm riding with Loyola Chicago.
Nice. Carl, who you got moving on?
Yeah, this is a tough one for me, but there's going to be a really good matchup down low in this game between Krutwig from Loyola Chicago and Coburn from Illinois. The thing is, like, Illinois is just a buzzsaw right now. I think if it was like if Loyola Chicago is playing like Iowa or even Michigan, like I think I would take them, but Illinois is just red hot right now, and it's going to be hard for me to pick against them, so I'm going to pick Illinois.
All right, 1-1. Alex, who you got moving on?
I'm gonna go with Illinois because I think I picked over Chicago in the first one, and so it doesn't make much sense for me to go against that now. But you know, Carl kind of alluded to it. Illinois is just hammering through everyone, so I'm gonna go with Illinois.
All right, Liz, are you going to send Illinois to the next round, or are you going Loyola here?
I'm making you get stuck with the pick. I think Illinois is killing it right now, but I think Loyola Chicago is just the better team in this matchup. It's going to be a great game either way.
It is going to be a great game, but my philosophy is to always feed the hot hand, and so I'm going to feed Illinois the dub here, moving them on. All right.
Fool, you don't know.
Yeah, whatever. Expert analysis over here. Always expertise. So the next matchup we got to see who gets into the Sweet 16. We've got Tennessee and Oklahoma State. Alex, tossing it to you first. Who you got, Tennessee or Oklahoma State?
Well, I picked who faced Tennessee in the first round. Who's gonna face them?
Oregon State went up against Tennessee in the first round.
Yeah, I picked Oregon State over Tennessee. There's no way I'm picking up Tennessee over Oklahoma State with Cade Cunningham, so I'm gonna go with Oklahoma State.
Liz?
I'm going Oklahoma State, even though I picked Liberty to beat them.
Fair. Garrett, who you got moving on?
He doesn't need one, but Cade Cunningham's going to have a coming out party against Tennessee, and Oklahoma State's moving on.
Carl, anything to add? Do you agree with the field?
Yeah, I agree. I'm not that high on Tennessee, but I'm really high on Oklahoma State. So for me, it's an easy pick.
Fair. Next matchup, Syracuse versus West Virginia. Carl, you said you're really high on West Virginia. You think they make it off against Syracuse easily here?
I think they do. Yeah, like the West Virginia Baylor game, even though Baylor came out with the win, West Virginia looked incredible. And I mean, Syracuse just as a bubble team, like putting them in the Sweet 16 just feels very, very wrong to me. It's not outside the realm of possibility, but West Virginia to me is just a phenomenal team. So yeah, West Virginia.
Liz, is this the end of your Syracuse run, or do you got them going?
Nope, I still have them going. Historicals is Syracuse and Jim Boeheim beat Bob Huggins, so I'm sticking with my Syracuse on this one.
So 1-1. Garrett, who you got moving on?
I picked Morehead State over West Virginia, but I'm not. I won't be like Alex and stick to my guns. I'll flip.
Ooh.
Excuse me.
Shots fired.
I'm going with West Virginia.
West Virginia. All right.
Just I don't know.
Because
Yeah,
you don't know.
I'm going
Expert
West Virginia.
analysis.
Yeah, you know.
West
Carl said it.
Virginia.
That's
Mountain-
my.